everybody.
Hello.
I'm Megan,
I'm Sage.
and we are
The
back
Squeaky
to welcome you to the Squeaky Floorboard Society.
Yeah, that.
We'll get our intro one day.
I wasn't sure which way we were going with that.
Last episode we talked about our boy Thies of Livonia and the Benedonti. So if you listen to that, some of the things in this episode will not be entirely new to you. And if you didn't listen to that, shame on you.
Honestly, Thies is a badass. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, you missed out if you didn't listen to that one.
He girl boss too close to the sun.
He didn't girl boss close enough.
Well.
Because they didn't kill him.
No, he just got exiled.
Exile is such a funny punishment. They're just like, just get out of here. I love that. Now, the episode before last, we did a brief introduction to Dogman. No, there's not an earthquake. I'm moving my laptop for our viewers. And today we're going back to the Dogman, and we're gonna dig a little deeper. I called this episode, when I wrote it, a deeper dive, because today we get to really sink our teeth in, dig our claws in, and this is mostly going to be stories that I think support the various facets.
I'm so excited because we never made it this far.
No, this is the one as well that has the story that I've been telling you about that gives me just goosebumps. But every time I moved it, I thought, well, that's the end of it. Okay. In our last episode, we introduced the Dogman to you, or perhaps just refresh your memory if you were already familiar with it. Are you going to make it?
Just keep talking.
This was just a bit of a primer to get everyone on the same page. And now that we all have a good base knowledge of the Dogman, it's time to move on to some more in-depth study. Now we get to really delve into the nature of this creature and what exactly it could be. We will be looking more into some of the more modern theories surrounding Dogman, some really frightening encounters, and even some ways that Dogman could be linked to demonic forces. Let's begin with the nature of Dogman. There are people on both sides of the aisle with totally different opinions on what sort of beast this is. Some see this as a flesh and blood creature who does what it does for the same reason as any other animal, as it follows its base instincts. Others claim it is a supernatural creature, with motivations for its behavior that go beyond our traditional understanding. Still, others see it as even a protector figure. We're going to explore all of these different facets of being and behavior through various encounters that people have had. So, Dogman is an animal, is the heading of this little section.
Okay.
The case of a Dogman with only basic animal instincts is, in my opinion, the weaker of the two main sides of Dogman. Most stories seem to hint at something that, while it may be flesh and blood, still has a little more to it. Still, there is evidence to support this argument. The Leon County, Florida encounter of a woman suggests that this is a creature that hunts to eat and behaves like a normal animal despite its strange appearance. This woman remains unnamed after reporting her sighting to Dogman encounters. She was driving through Florida with her 6 children, and had a trailer behind her SUV with all their belongings on it, as well as their 3 dogs. While on the lookout for deer...
Trailer?
Yeah, I assume they were, maybe crated.
Okay.
I would have put them in the SUV, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you said that, my brain went, wait, in the trailer?
Yeah. To be fair, I don't know what kind of trailer it was. I don't know if it was enclosed. I don't know if it was a U-Haul. I don't know if it was an open trailer where they've just ratchet strapped the kennels down and hope they didn't fly off.
Oh my goodness. This is giving, National Lampoons.
It really is, though. I think Daryl really likes that movie.
I do too.
While on the lookout for deer since they were driving at night, they instead spotted something else. Their headlights illuminated blood all over the highway, and right next to it was a creature crouched and eating a dead deer. It did not look at them or acknowledge them, solely interested in eating its freshly killed meal. They sped away in fear before anything further happened. The witness described it as a werewolf, with a muscular body, long snout, and human-like hands. They estimated it to be around 6 or 7 feet tall. This sounds exactly like any other animal with its food, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't interested in making another kill when it already had food, and they weren't threatening its kill, so they were of no consequence to him. It did eat with its hands like a person, but even that isn't unheard of in the animal kingdom, because you can watch raccoons, and they have their little hands.
Raccoons are so adorable.
I love raccoons.
I do
They're with their
too.
little hands and their little
I
masks.
love when they get cotton candy.
And they try to wash it.
And it just goes away
It's
and they look so
gone.
distraught.
We need to invent a non-water soluble cotton candy for them.
They would love it.
Oh. Interestingly enough, another account from Sarasota County in Florida paints a similar picture. While out mudding with some friends, the witness stopped to relieve himself in the tree line. That's when he noticed an extremely large coyote-like creature. It was hunched over eating a wild boar, and even when the witness yelled, it didn't attack. It merely perked its ears, looked around, and then went back to eating. The witness
ruin its day. It's just trying to eat.
The witness acknowledges, he's like, I was kind of young when this happened. He said, I was in my late teens. And he said that against his better judgment, he yelled.
No, if you
because he's like, what is it?
Animal, you finish taking your pee in a circle
Mm-hmm.
and just leave.
Right. But this is just normal animal behavior. It wasn't interested in killing something when it already had food, and it checked its surroundings to assess the threat when the witness yelled. And after determining that there was no threat, it simply went back to eating. It didn't pursue the witness. It didn't give a shit. It was like, look at that little thing. That's not threatening my food.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep eating. Also, both of these encounters took place in Florida, so is Dogman just Florida man? Maybe. Another story from Kenton County, Kentucky also supports this theory and is incredibly interesting as well. A woman was driving home after work one night and pulled over to use the bathroom on the roadside since she didn't think she could make it till home. When she stood up and turned around, there were 3 deer staring right past her. She turned around again to see what was scaring the deer, and it turned out to be a massive bipedal canine well over 6 feet tall. It growled at her, and here is where her story gets fascinating. This woman works in security and trains attack and guard dogs. So in response to the dogman growling at her, she crouched and growled back like she would with her own dogs that she trains. The dogman took a step forward, but when she stepped forward and continued to growl at it, it retreated back into the tree line. She says she doesn't believe she scared it or made it believe she was the alpha, but rather confused it. I do, however, find it interesting that a training method for her dogs worked on it in any capacity, which speaks to the dogman essentially just being a really big, horrible canine rather than some monster. She also mentioned that since this happened, pets have progressively gone missing further and further down the hill from where she saw this thing and into the valley where she lives. She thinks that it may have exhausted its food supply on the hill and is now having to venture into more populated areas to find food, which does put it now dangerously close to the human populace. Do you, as somebody who has owned some large dogs, how do you feel about this story?
It didn't get scared by her. It just retreated.
No, she thinks that maybe it. She said that she thinks it maybe like just kind of threw off the way it perceived things would go.
It could have. But like, here's the thing: is, and I'm gonna say this, I've had bigger dogs. I've been around big dogs, and I mean this with so much love towards my dog, especially. The bigger the dog is, the less brain cells I feel it has.
Right.
Like,
well, except for Bela.
Bela shared a brain cell with me, and I think I had it all. Why is there a handprint on my window right there? Sorry, I got distracted. There's 2 handprints, like... Sorry, that just threw me off. I've never seen them before, and...
Well, in the morning, you should check and see if they're on the inside or outside. Because I know that's a 2nd-story window.
Hold on, I'm sending you a photo. I've never seen them before, and I don't go to that window, and Dennis doesn't go to that window. That is horrifying.
I'll look at it as soon as the episode's over.
Alright, well, I guess I'm... Sorry, that just threw me off. I've never seen that handprint before. nor does it have
That's
a reason to
scary.
be there because I don't get over there. Dennis doesn't go over there.
Oh wait, I think I just got it.
There's two, but the other one's not as.
Oh. Yeah, I don't like that either.
Sorry, that just distracted me. That's horrifying. I'm gonna.
It's the Dogman.
That's horrifying.
Scary.
I'm so sorry. That threw me off.
No, I would be thrown off too. That's foul.
For all of you that are listening, so if you don't leave this in, there's a window that's open directly across from my desk, but I'm on the second floor of my house. So it has to be on the inside because there's not even a roof right there. Unless
if you go look at it and they're like on the outside.
Oh, I'm getting a new gun.
Well, you can tell really easily by if you rub it and it goes away.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it now?
My husband has no reason to be right there. That's what's so creepy to me is that he would not have a reason to put his hand up. It's like towards the U saw, it's towards the top of the window. He would have no reason to put his hand up there. We don't have an AC over there. The only one that goes over there is my cat.
Freya? Do you have something to tell us?
She's loathed right now.
Or do you want to pretend you didn't see that?
Yeah, continue.
All right. I'm going to take a quick sippy. Anyways. Moving on to Dogman as an entity. Now we're getting to what I consider to be the most likely type of Dogman. This is the Dogman with a bit of a supernatural twist to it. It could be flesh and blood, or it could not, but its motivations for its behavior are clearly far from normal. In most of these stories, its main goal seems to be to induce fear rather than anything else. Most of the time in these stories, if it wanted to kill the witness, it easily could have. Instead, it almost reads as the Dogman actively choosing not to hurt them or being unable to hurt them. This theme is present in countless Dogman stories, but I'm going to present just a few of my favorites that I think really make the case. This one has ties to Bray Road. The first case is, I think, the best possible starting point because it is a precursor to the entire Dogman craze. In 1936, Mark Shackleman was a nighttime security guard at the St. Coletta School for Exceptional Children. St. Coletta's was a school for disabled children, and the name may ring a bell for my fellow history nerds, as being the same school that Rosemary Kennedy would be placed in 1949 until her death in 2005, after her failed lobotomy.
I was like, that name sounds familiar, but I couldn't think from where.
Yep, Rosemary Kennedy. This was a Catholic institution with a picturesque landscape, with its 174 acres also containing several Native American burial mounds.
I think all of America is a Native American burial mound, if I'm being completely
right.
honest.
These are like very specific ones, though, that are very visible, and that's why America's got such bad luck. We're built on the bones of your ancestors.
Literally.
We deserve it, to be fair. Except me. I wasn't even here. I was busy being oppressed by the English.
That is true.
And then on my other side, I was being oppressed by the rest of Europe because we were Slavs.
My husband's people were probably oppressing your people as well, even though they were also Slavs.
I'm beating his ass next time I see him. This is for my ancestors. So Shackleman spent every night patrolling the peaceful grounds with his flashlight, making sure nothing was out of place. He didn't carry any sort of weapon as there was no need to. That is, until that fateful night in 1936, when he had his first brush with it. As he walked the grounds on his rounds, he noticed something by one of the mounds. Oh! I'm Dr. Seuss.
You said, oh, and I was like, oh my god, what happened?
I'm Dr. Seuss. As he walked the grounds on his rounds, he noticed something by one of the mounds. That was completely unintentional, and I realized it as I was reading it. I was like...
I was leaning forward listening, and then you said, oh, and I was like, oh no, did you see something behind me?
No, if I saw something behind you, I'd be like... It appeared to be some kind of large four-legged beast, but the way it dug seemed out of place. The beast was surrounded by a hideous odor that Shackleman could smell from where he stood. When the perplexed Shackleman shined his light on the mystery beast, it ran away on two legs. The encounter had not left his mind the next morning, as he went up to inspect the spot he had seen the beast and found that the mound was torn up. The next night, he saw it again in the same spot, doing the same thing. Unfortunately for Sheckelman, it didn't flee this time. Instead, it stood up and stared at him. And then, it spoke.
No, thank you.
Three short, uttered syllables that he could only perceive as ga-da-ra. It never broke eye contact, and Sheckelman felt that he must begin to pray or he would surely die. It seemed to work as the creature finally walked away into the darkness until the only thing that lingered was its putrid smell. He spoke to no one about this incident until he thought he was on his deathbed and told his son Joe. After his death, Joe later published his story in a newspaper. There are a few elements to this encounter that suggest this is a creature with unnatural motives. For one, the creature could have easily attacked and killed the unarmed Shackelman, but didn't. Instead, it chose to strike fear in him. The fact that it spoke also says that this is not a normal creature. Shackelman described the voice as neo-human. Further, there seems to be a connection between the creature and the burial mounds.
I know we can figure out what that.
To this day, no one knows what Gadara means.
I'm thinking.
I don't like that story.
I don't either. I'm trying to think. Because some Native American, so English is very much like this with the way things are pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, native languages, it's very,
Mm-hmm.
with the way things are, vocally pronounced.
Right.
And to me, that's what I almost felt like a little bit.
That's what I was actually thinking, was what tribe were those mounds from, and what was their language like?
Yeah, because, for me, I can say, Hihana washte. Good morning. Hihanapi washte. You see what I mean?
Right.
How...
Yeah.
So, to me, it almost felt like one word.
Right. I thought, just based on the little bit that I've heard of various native languages, that was my first initial thought.
Yeah,
but
it's very
maybe none of the researchers asked Native Americans.
Which would check out.
Right. And if he was speaking the native language of that tribe, that begs the question of, what is he?
Yeah.
Is he some shaman cursed to walk the earth?
Yeah, because...
Did he use his powers for evil and kill someone? And now he's cursed?
Yeah, because there's a lot of Native American things that are like that.
Or is he a spirit left over from the tribe entirely that presents as a wolf? And he's digging for something important. But Sheckelman doesn't see the beast again, so...
Well, and also, too, I don't know where was this based out of?
Jefferson, Wisconsin.
Okay, so Wisconsin would be really close to where my tribe is. It probably wasn't my tribe, but that is close. I was going to say something, and then the train left the station without my brain.
Right.
I would say, well, at least I know speaking specifically for my tribe, that shapeshifting is a huge thing that's believed. I cannot speak for all tribes. We all have our own beliefs, but I know at least for ours, shapeshifting is something that is heavily believed in.
Right. So, it's that way with the Navajo as well, if I'm not mistaken. They're super into it because that's where the flesh pedestrian thing.
Yeah.
Almost said myth. White people have it as a myth, but it's not. It's a very deeply ingrained belief that's taken seriously.
Yeah, I do not it's nighttime. I won't whistle. There's a lot of Native American things.
Oh, I don't whistle at night either. Absolutely not. That's how you call the devil.
I'm Native American, so we don't whistle at night anyway, and I live in Appalachia.
Right.
No, thank you.
Well, that's an Irish thing too. But of course, natives and the Irish are chill.
Yeah, that is true.
That's why we're chill. And it's because we both know not to whistle at night.
Yeah.
It calls the devil.
Well, for us, it calls flesh pedestrians.
I feel like those are kind of comparable in a weird way.
To some degree, yes.
Well, because you guys have a devil?
we have tricksters, but not really
Right.
devils. Like our tricksters are like spiders, foxes, coyotes.
And to be fair, it wouldn't call the devil himself. If we whistled, it would call one of his horrible little minions.
Yeah, which could, I guess,
Which is
technically be, because we don't, the way we practice, it's like you have the creator, but there's no speak of, because like we believe in such a heavily reincarnation that like the creator is just who created everything and is like guides us through life, and we have like spirit guides and all this stuff, but we never have, like, you have bad magic per se.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And it's not even like that you're worshiping the devil or something like that. It's like
it's just it's the way you use it.
Yeah,
from my understanding.
So, yeah, it's basically just like, oh well, you were taught the good stuff, but you're using it to do bad and mean things.
Right. Like the way that you become shape-shifting in and of itself isn't bad.
No.
It's how you use it.
Because like shapeshifting is so prominent that it's believed that everyone in like certain lines have like the ability to do so. Like, so like one family line, they might be shapeshifting, another one might be visions, another one might be able to see the spirit world. Like each family has their thing.
It's interesting to compare and contrast, which to be fair, there's actually not that big of a contrast. Native American beliefs with even Abrahamic ones, because it seems like at the end of the day, it's a very similar morality.
Yeah.
Because we're all human.
Yeah, it's just do good, be good, basically.
Right. Like, we frown upon cannibalism greatly, and so do you guys. That's how you become a windy boy in some groups.
That's more of like, I want to say, I think those are more based on more of like the Eastern.
Yeah, that's like the Ojibwe people and stuff.
Like Ojibwe, Seminole.
Yeah.
Like out towards where I'm living now.
Right. Yeah, I knew that wasn't specifically like a Dakota Sioux thing.
If you guys didn't know, there are, because this is just something that I've noticed in my entire life, not every single Native American tribe practices the same way. It's each one has their own culture, their own spiritual beliefs. Some of them are very similar, especially if they're in the same area. Like the Sioux and the Navajo have very similar, because they are, even though they're like on a map this far, they're still close enough that at that time it would have been like tribes that we would have bartered with and stuff like that.
I said I wasn't going to delve into the Native American stuff at all because I didn't felt like it fit, and here we are.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was bound to happen. Our second case is actually one I heard part of on another podcast and was so freaked out by that I had to check out the original. The original story comes from a podcast called Dogman Encounters, which was one of the first podcasts to really take Dogman seriously, and the part of it I heard first was, once again, it was from Belief Hole. I probably would not have the interest in Dogman that I have if it wasn't for their podcast. This is the story I've heard that actually scares me the most, especially when you hear the witness tell it in his own words. I strongly suggest you listen to the original episode of Dogman Encounters, which is episode 117, so you can hear the fear that still takes hold of this man 35 years later from just retelling his encounter. I think it is worth mentioning that this particular witness chooses to remain totally anonymous, because, as he puts it, he holds a position of some prominence and authority in the community. He has never told anyone in 35 years until he chose to tell his story on the podcast. His own wife doesn't know this story.
Oh my, I can actually, that doesn't make me feel as bad, because never mind, I'm shut the fuck up.
His story begins in 1981. And sees our then 17-year-old witness home from his girlfriend's house along a road called Wagner Hollow Road. It was a hot summer night, so of course he had his windows down. He had a car that he absolutely loved, a 1968 Dodge Coronet, and it had an extremely loud cherry bomb muffler set on it. This muffler will be relevant to the story.
Okay.
If you've ever heard one of those mufflers, they're loud as fuck.
You know when that car's coming, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. As he drove home through the hills of Tennessee, he was surrounded by woodlands and farm pastures. The moon was bright and illuminated everything around him. He could even see various animals in the fields around him, But being an inexperienced driver, he was still cautiously navigating the many curves and twists of the road at about 30 miles per hour. He was just getting ready to go into a long, tight curve when he noticed something. A large shadow detached itself from the tree line and started to come towards his vehicle. He couldn't tell what animal it was exactly, but it creeped him out. As it drew closer, he started to realize why. As it grew closer and closer, he could make out more and more features until he saw it for what it was. First he saw it was bipedal, and it didn't make sense. Then he realized it was as fast as his car. Once he could see features, he thought of a dog. A long snout, bushy tail, and a head like a German shepherd. But then he saw it also had arms and hands instead of paws, and had fur all over its body. The witness was absolutely horrified, as he realized he had never seen anything like it before, and didn't know what it was. Once it hopped a barbed wire fence and landed next to his car, the horror only rose. He jerked the wheel to move away from the monster. As it ran alongside his vehicle, right by his passenger window, which, recall, these windows are down.
No, thank you.
He could hear the clacking of its nails on the pavement even over the roar of the cherry bomb mufflers, and he could gauge its height as being around 7 feet tall.
No, thank you.
Then he made a mistake that would haunt him for the next 35 years. He turned and looked at it full on. He saw it was male. Plain as day, he says. As he looked up, he saw it wasn't looking at him, but he could see tufted, high-pointed ears. He says that at this point, he wanted to speed away, but he was afraid to wreck. He was scared it might reach into the car and pull him out because its arms were so long.
Oh.
He was also afraid, due to its height, that it could lean in and bite his head off, which was furthered by the fact that he could now see its mouth was full of jagged teeth, with long upper and lower canines. To the witness's absolute terror, the monster finally turned and looked at him, and he made eye contact with its black, soulless eyes. He sensed pure evil. The beast leaned down and leaned into the passenger window, grabbing hold of the door with its clawed hand, never losing pace with his car. The worst thing imaginable for the witness then happened, as it began to try to open his door with its free hand, as it curled its lips back into a smiling snarl. Luckily, the door was locked, but its head was still in the car, and it breathed on him, engulfing him in a putrid metallic stench. He thought he was surely about to die when he finally came out of the curve and hit a straightaway. Its hand slipped off the door, and the creature faded into the distance as he hit 70 miles per hour. He told no one what happened, including his father, who inquired about the scratches on his door. He told his dad they came from a thorn bush, and then sold his beloved car a few weeks later because he could not drive it without thinking about what happened. He couldn't sleep for weeks, and when he did, he was plagued by nightmares. He never thought of it as a werewolf, and never connected it to any sort of creature until he heard of the Dogman. To this day, he only lives a couple of miles from where it happened, and cannot spend any time in his backyard for fear of being watched by something in the woods. He quit hunting as well. His life completely changed after his encounter. This story really emphasizes that wanting to elicit fear element, as the Dogman took its time to scare him and went out of its way to do things that scared him. It didn't need to open the door, because if it wanted to hurt him, it easily could have from where it stood. The fact that it knew how to open a door is also unnerving. The smile it gave him when it knew he was afraid also suggests that this is a creature that enjoys fear above all else.
No,
Do you see why I don't like that one?
No, thank you.
I will never drive with my windows down at night, ever,
No, thank
after hearing that story.
For a second, that made me think, he used to work at this guy that would have sawmill, and he was convinced Bigfoot saved his life. And it made me think of that for a second, but completely different outcomes.
Yeah, I mean, just the way he's talking about, like, when you listen to the recording of him, I mean, this is a man in his, like, 60s.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be in his, like, 60s, maybe 70s now. And this poor guy, the way that he sounds when he talks about, and then it leaned into the car, his voice just completely breaks. It's horrifying to listen to. And I think that unless
listen to you telling it.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I heard this, I was just completely. I mean, I was driving when I heard it, not at night, thank God. But I was driving, I had it on in my car, and I was like my mouth was just open. Like I got chills. My eyes welled up with tears a little bit because of just how afraid he sounded.
I got goosebumps just listening to you say that.
This was by far the most believable recounting of anything I've ever heard in my life.
That's horrifying.
I've heard people recount non-questionable, frightening events with less fear than this man does. And I think that's also something that crops up in these encounters that are similar to his, just over and over again. The fear never leaves. The fear stays. There's always this, and oftentimes there's this belief that Dogman's going to come back for them. That it knew them, that it knew what they were thinking, that it knew they were afraid, that it chose them even. Like, that's... And so there's the question of, is it able to feed off of them to this day?
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that. Me either. I know. I grinned because I saw you grab the turtle, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she knows what I'm feeling about this story."
No, you should save that for last.
This story is also pretty terrifying.
Okay.
But there is one element to the story that kind of breaks it up, and that's why I put it after that one, because I didn't want us to go into the next section and just be pissing our pants and unable to comprehend any further information.
That was horrifying. Hold on.
I told you it was horrifying. Timidly hits vape. The final story that I think really shows this side of the Dogman is one that takes place in 2007 in southern Milwaukee on Fitzsimmons Road, which is known as both a lover's lane and a spook walk. Naturally, this makes it a place that young people are drawn to, so it isn't uncommon to see teens and young adults along this road. Brothers Jonathan, age 25, and Benjamin, age 18, decided to try to bring some friends with him to try to see some spooks. These friends were 3 girls, one being 22 and the other 2 being 18. All was well as they traversed the lane until they reached a spot with some woods. From the direction of the woods came an awful howl, but they wrote this off and kept going. This continued until one of their flashlights hit upon a pair of yellow eyes down the road. The 2 18-year-old girls, in a show of common sense, retreated back to the residential section of the road, which was brightened by streetlights. The others carried on to see what animal it was, as if it was any of their fucking business. They wished they hadn't when the beast... Huh?
I said, no, thank you.
Nope. They wished they hadn't when the beast rose to full height of over 6 feet, revealing its dog-like form and starting towards them on its hind legs. They fled in terror as quickly as they could, and the beast pursued them. It caught up quickly with Jonathan, who was the slowest. While the creature certainly could have snatched him with its great speed, it instead reached out, ghosting its claws over the back of his neck, leaving only light scratches and some tears in the collar of his shirt. Once they reached the well-lit area of the trail the 2 younger girls had fled to, the creature turned off and ran back up the trail. They all drove straight to the brothers' house, where their mother listened to their story between sobs. Her sister later contacted Linda Godfrey, who promptly went to investigate. Godfrey went back to the site of the encounter with the boys, their mother, their aunt, and one of the girls who was there that night. She shows up only like a couple of days after this encounter happens, by the way.
Okay.
There they found a track that Godfrey photographed and sent to the Wisconsin DNR for analysis. They found it to be canine despite it being over 8 inches long. The track suggests a corporeal creature, but the fact that it didn't attack them suggests something else is at play once again. It seems far more interested in fright than carnage. Since these are all young adults, I will say, they and their mother all claimed that the 5 of them were sober when this happened, despite the shirt that the creature tore being a Cheech and Chong button-up. Maybe the Dogman just doesn't like stoners.
To me, this almost sounds like we're trying to protect something that's there versus
maybe
just trying to scare.
So, we've reached our final one, which is Dogman as a protector. I mentioned at the very beginning of this episode that some view Dogman as a protector figure. One story came from an elderly man who noticed a strange, large wolf on his property one day and he began to think of it as his buddy since it was just always around. He swore he could see it in the tree line constantly. One night, he was attacked by an intruder on his property and was actually saved by his wolf friend. The wolf ran out of the woods on 2 legs and chased the intruder away. The man was originally frightened, but realized that the creature could have hurt him many times if it had wanted to. He then left it a platter of chicken outside, and says that the creature has continued to watch over him. The original story was apparently a retelling on a show called Darkness Prevails, but I cannot for the life of me find the original episode. I could only find retellings of it on Reddit. Weirdly enough, there is historical backing for this idea, and it is undoubtedly my favorite piece of Wolfman lore. In old Europe, we just covered this, there were tales of werewolves who were protectors of communities. We all remember Thies of Livonia, an 80-year-old man, who was involved in a court case, and for no reason admitted to being a werewolf. However, as we know, these werewolves were not creatures of darkness and evil, but rather they fought witches on behalf of God. And oh yeah, I mentioned in my original thing because Sage and I hadn't collaborated exactly. I didn't know what she was going to end up covering, and I already had this
3 docs that we were writing on about what episodes we were doing, and none of them had any information on them.
Yeah, and so I point out that fascinatingly enough, Thies was not on trial for being a werewolf and wasn't even on trial in the first place. He was just witness to a church robbery and decided to clear the air.
Did you actually read all of his stuff when you were doing that, or did you just get that tidbit?
No, I cover the Hounds of God and the things that they do and stuff, but we just covered that. And then, Thies isn't the only person promoting a sanctified werewolf. The Italian Benedanti were a shamanic group who believed they could project their consciousness into other forms and that they would fight witches called the Malandanti. The Benedanti were anti-witchcraft, anti-devil, and pro-God. Much like how the Dogman has his song The Legend, this particular branch of wolf has its own entire band. The German band Powerwolf is a concept band based entirely on the premise that they are holy werewolves who wage war against evil in the name of Christ. With songs with names like Werewolves of Armenia and Army of the Night and religiously charged lyrics, their music is a surprising modern take on an old theme.
I love that.
If you guys aren't listening to Powerwolf, you should start. It's literally, I could be in my casket, dead, and if I heard the intro to any of their songs, if I heard "And We Bring Fire, Fire, Fire and Forgive," I would be up. So no matter which side you take on what Dogman is or what his true nature is, there is a plethora of tales to support your view. The Dogman is a controversial figure even within the community that believes in it, and will continue to be for the foreseeable future. But let us know what you think. Sage, how are we feeling?
Was it the second story?
The Cherry Bomb Muffler story.
Yeah, that. I was like,
good luck sleep.
Hold something. I need to hold something.
I'm telling you, go back and listen to that original recording from Dogman Encounters. You will be pissing in your sandals.
Here's the thing is, don't tell my husband this, because he likes to run experiments on me. That sounded weird.
Okay.
I didn't mean it like that. I take melatonin occasionally because I have bipolar disorder, so sometimes, but I have, like, the cool kind. I have type 2.
Kill kind.
Which means that when I'm having, like, I'll have hyperinsomnia, which is where, like, I can't go to sleep and I'll fight for my life. So I take a lot of melatonin during those times. But he's found that if I take melatonin, whatever happens to be playing on the TV or something will influence my dreams heavily.
You're taking melatonin and he's in there putting on 10 hours of people burning in hellfire.
But yeah, so, and he'll ask, like, especially if he's home, he'll be like, "Hey, are you taking melatonin tonight?" And I'll be like, "Yeah or no." And then if I am, I'll fall asleep watching, like, some YouTube video. Because I can't fall asleep with a TV show on. I will stay up and watch it. And
right.
I've been watching a lot of Jacksepticeye, and it's like I can only watch funny ones. I'm not allowed to watch any of the spooky games because without a doubt, I will have a nightmare.
I can never relate to this because I sleep like a baby that you rubbed whiskey on their gums. I sleep so good. I fall asleep immediately, and I don't wake up unless my child cries. That's the only thing that wakes me up. And also, the only bad dream I have ever is it's always the same one. I'm in Walmart and I'm in the bike section, and the T-Rex from Jurassic Park comes crashing in through the auto center, and I have to survive.
See, that would be more of a fun dream than what.
But it's not when I'm having it. Like, it sounds so silly, but when I'm actually having it, it is diabolically frightening.
I believe that, but like, would you rather have the dream that I just told you or that one?
Well, no, because I actually have a child.
It's horrifying.
Well, speaking of that child, I have to go get him.
All right, so we'll end it here on whatever that note was. I feel like maybe that was a good refresher, maybe.
That was the opposite. I'm mortified.
Maybe I'll cut that out. We'll see if you guys we'll see if you guys get to hear that or not.
2 worst stories of the episode: cherry bomb muffler and whatever the fuck that was. All right, bye guys.